Welcome to Suitcase Divas podcast. My name is Denise Vivaldi with Redbirds Travel.
And I'm Cheryl Garcia with ABCD Adventures.
Yeah, so we wanted to start off with some great news. And Cheryl, give us the great news.
We are, as Suitcase Divas, we're growing. Our podcast is growing. We're very excited. Thank you all for listening to us and following us on our socials, which we are the last couple of days, we just launched on Apple Podcasts. So now you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio.
Let's cheers to that, Cheryl.
Right?
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Growing and new things. Yes. And being on Apple Podcasts.
Our social media is doing well. We're getting interaction. We love seeing the comments and the DMs from you guys. We're on obviously Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok is kind of where we're hanging out the most, I think, is there. So make sure you check us out and follow us there. But thank you guys to whoever's been
and passing word of mouth. Thank you, JJ, for the shout out and saying how great our Why to Use a Travel Agent podcast was. Really appreciate it. And tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody that will listen about the Suitcase Divas podcast because it's a lot of good information, honestly.
Yeah, thank you guys. So it's been fun. So we'll keep you up to date on how we're doing because we're only doing as well as we are because of you guys. So thank you. So that takes us into, we're now at episode 7. Yay!
Whoop, whoop. So in this episode, Cheryl and I both went away this weekend for different things. I went away on my college best friend reunion. We do this like every couple years. We pick a place to go and we just really enjoy. There's 6 of us. We just enjoy our girlfriend times. We've been friends for 20 plus years and it's been amazing. So I super enjoy that. And then Cheryl, where were you? You went on what type of trip?
So I went for a work trip. I went to our regionals for travel agents for our company and for training and networking and just learning about some things. But it was in Suffolk, Virginia, and that's very close to where a lot of my family is. So I squeezed in some family time. So we're going to talk about some of the things that we did as a family. We did a really fun Halloween activity out there. So I'm going to explain about that.
'Tis the season to be spooky.
Yes.
Yeah, I love all of I'm starting to see a lot of Halloween and people are going big this year. Like you see the 10-foot skeletons and people are posing them. And the little town I went to was Woodstock, Georgia. I would consider it a hidden gem. It's a really cute little walkable town, very dog friendly. They had, decorations in town square. There's breweries. They had a pop-up artist like 20, 30 different tents, all kinds of different artists in the park, and was just a super lot of fun. So I would say for sure Woodstock, Georgia, if you are ever in the area. It's about an hour north of Atlanta, I would say. So yeah, I went there with my college besties. We rented an Airbnb close to town so that we could walk in and walk out. They have a lot of different, restaurants, shops. We were saying this would be such a fun little town after you're retired to have maybe like a wine bar and desserts and things like that. We had an amazing brunch. When it's a good brunch, when there's a line out the door the whole time you're there and people are just coming in and going and coming and going. We went to a little brunch spot called J. Christopher's. I believe it's a chain, but it was delicious. And obviously the company was great. But so there was that. And the best part was, so they didn't serve alcohol, but like right across the street, they had a wine bar. And so we had mimosas and they were completely fine with us bringing the mimosas back to their restaurant and, enjoying partaking there. So that was also fun. We went on the following day, we went up to this. So we are in the mountains. At this point, you're in the Georgia mountains. Okay. It's gorgeous. So it was about 45 minutes to get to Jasper. We had a winery day. As you know,
we love our winery days.
Yeah, we love our wineries. So the first one we went to was super cute. It was called Fainting Goat. And we were up in the mountains. I will be posting a set. So if you follow me on Facebook, that's where my set will be. But yeah, so we were up there and they had fainting goats. They had their own little setup with fans and a playground where they could go up on a ramp and all this stuff. And the other cool thing is they had like Grand Pyrenees dogs, the big white fluffy dogs,
Oh yeah.
protecting the goats. So like one guy came up with his dog, which most of the wineries are pet friendly, dog friendly, as long as you have them on a leash. And so one lady came up with her dog, and the Grand Pyrenees just bolted out from behind the bar. They were like stealth, and they came up and they were telling that dog like, "Do not touch our sheep, our goats, leave our goats alone." So that was pretty cool, and we got to see them playing, going up and down the ramp. The wine was delicious. We had brought, you can, most wineries will let you bring in your own charcuterie board, so we did that, and we had a yummy lunch there. And then we went on to LEJ, and there was a couple wineries there. I think we went to Ott Winery, and then we went to Buckley Winery. So we hit up a few different wineries, and the scenery is just amazing. You're literally in the mountains, looking over the Blue Ridge Parkway. Just fantastic time. Could not have asked for a better day there. And it was cool and breezy because we're in fall now, but in the south, it's easily can be 80 on Halloween, you know? So
Yeah.
it was nice to get a crisp weekend, and I actually wore boots and sweaters and even my puffer vest and a winter hat in the evenings because it was getting down into the 40s. So fall is officially here, until it becomes like mid 80s again next week.
Yeah.
Um,
Welcome to the South. That's how it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes. And then the other cool thing I will say at that pop-up vendor show, so whenever my girlfriends get together, they're always like, let's get a matching tattoo. And a couple of friends are like, I'm not doing that. They don't have any tattoos. Like three of us have tattoos, three of us don't. So, there's always the one holdout for the no group friendship tattoo. But there was this pop-up vendor, and it's called join the plus sign jewel, permanent jewelry. And I'm like, permanent jewelry? I don't know how I feel about this. But yeah, so it's a different, you can pick different types of jewelry. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it because, again, this is the little one that I
Oh,
got.
yeah.
So they actually solder it on you. So this one, you can take this off. This one you cannot ever take off. The whole concept is it's good in the shower, it's good. You can swim with it. This particular kind is stainless steel. You can pick gold, you can pick premium, different stuff. I just picked the standard, but yeah, when they put it on you, they actually put a little rubber mat underneath, and then they have this soldering gun, and it's a little zap, a little spark, if you will, and then it's on me. It's not going anywhere. So I felt a little claustrophobic about it at first, but I'm okay now. I'm doing good. I feel fine about it. I honestly don't even feel it most of the time. So, but they do make it permanent so that if it snags on something or catches on something, it's not going to just, you're not going to lose it. It's not going to fall off. The whole concept of permanent jewelry is that they make it tough enough to stay on if you snag it on something.
Right.
So, yeah, and outside of that, just hanging out, drinking mimosas, having fun, sharing good memories from college. It was definitely a much needed, wonderful girls trip. And I would say that LEJ for the wineries, and actually Fainting Goat is in Jasper, but it's like a hop, skip, and a jump from LEJ, maybe like 10 minutes, 15 minutes most. But I will say travel agent trip, if you get car sick from going up the mountains, I'm so glad I had my peppermint. You just bring like a bottle of peppermint oil, and just breathing in the peppermint really helped me because on the way up, I was in the far back, a 7-person vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
so, that was a little rough on the way up, and thank God for my peppermint oil because that really did help me not be so nauseous going up the winding mountains. But the views were well worth it. So that is a little hack. If you do get nauseous in the car, peppermint oil is your best friend. And I think you
Oh,
can choose like
absolutely.
ginger gum too, but peppermint works the best for me. So I'm putting that out there. Um, but yeah, I love this little town. It's very dog friendly, which I'm all about. I did not bring Riley, but our Airbnb was pet friendly. I'm all about pet friendly lodging. So overall, I would say Woodstock, Georgia, you should put it on your list as a weekend getaway. Just check it out. There's so many fun shops. The bakery, oh my gosh, there was a bakery there. I'm gonna have to look that up and put it in the notes because they had the most amazing desserts. We got a few different ones. The carrot cake, their muffins, their cupcakes were like huge,
Oh,
and
wow.
their carrot cake one was delicious. And then they had stuff like um cheesecake dipped in I didn't eat all that. I had some of the carrot cake. Oh, and they had cannolis, and I had a mini cannoli with my wine. That was delicious. So, what a fun trip and what a fun city. I would highly two thumbs up to Woodstock, Georgia. So,
Nice.
how about you, Cheryl? Do tell what was going on with you this weekend.
So, like I said, I was heading to Suffolk, Virginia for our regional event where we did some training and stuff. So I attended that on Saturday. In the meantime, like my family's all in that area, the Virginia
Right.
Beach, Chesapeake, and then on the North Carolina border, Erie County, which is it right out in the Dismal Swamp area. A lot of people don't know quite where that
So
is.
you did not have Wi-Fi, right? No Wi-Fi there. Because I texted you a few times and I didn't hear back from you. I thought you got confiscated at regionals.
Yeah, no, it's definitely hit or miss out there. They do have, I won't say my mom lives out, like she does actually have Wi-Fi. They have two internet services just to boost a little bit. But
Damn.
when they go
When
grocery
you live so
shopping,
far out in the woods that you have to have two internet services
yes.
just to get some reception.
And when they go grocery shopping, they take a cooler because it's a day kind of thing. It's beautiful out there. It's the country. I kind of grew up country. I grew up
Yeah, drive straight down the middle of the road, right?
yes. So you don't hit that's how I learned how to drive. You always straddle the line on these country roads, if there is even a line, because most of these country roads don't even have lines. So just FYI. But
Country roads, take me
yeah,
home. Yes.
exactly. So I love going out there. My mom, like I said, lives out in the country, and then my in-laws live actually in the city in the Virginia Beach area. So we spent some time there. But what I want to say, and those areas like Suffolk was beautiful. They had the Peanut Festival going on. That my nephews had gone to, I think on Friday night, which was
Peanut
really
Festival. So
cute.
this is all fall stuff. They're starting to do
Yes,
the hay ride, the pumpkin patch, all this stuff. So
right.
that's cool. So you did partake a little bit in that
So
stuff?
we did. So my little hidden gem, now those little city areas aren't necessarily hidden gem. I think Virginia Beach is well known, Norfolk, and where my mom lives, obviously not so much, but that's where they travel. They live. One of the things that we did that I consider an amazing hidden gem, because I didn't know this until we went, was we went to Busch Gardens, the Hallow Scream. I grew up in that area. So I grew up going to Busch Gardens, but I had never been to Hallow
Nice.
Scream. What made this special and kind of like a hidden gem is my
And that's a theme
stepdad.
park. A
It
theme
is a
park?
theme park, yeah. Like out here in
Okay.
Charlotte, Carowinds, Busch Gardens,
Yep.
Williamsburg is where we went. Is really it's one of my favorite
I've
amusement
never been
parks.
there. I've never been there.
Honestly, out of all of them, my top two theme parks are Dollywood and Busch Gardens.
Dollywood.
It
Yes, I
is,
love
yes.
Dollywood.
And it's the atmosphere. And I don't like, I ride rides and stuff, but I don't think about that. I think about everything else you get to do, because usually when you're going to
It,
a theme park, everybody likes something different. So you've
yeah,
got
and not everybody's a roller coaster freak and stuff like that.
great.
So and with my cheer injuries in my back, I don't do a lot of rides either, but Dollywood was amazing for just the ambience and get to see
Yes.
her little house, how she started and grew up. And I love me some Dolly. Don't even get me
So
started. You go on,
as
girl. That's another story for another
Dollywood was
day.
great because we had it's its own thing, and just the history of Dolly Parton in the first
Yep.
place. You go
Oh,
there and you
amazing.
just love her. Busch Gardens, it's broken up into countries. So like
Oh,
you'll go from Germany to Italy. I don't remember all of them. Italy, France.
kind of
Um,
like Epcot at Disney.
it's not so much like Epcot because in each one is it's decorated to fit that country. They have at least some food that fits that country. The decor, the feeling, the vibe that you get, it's beautiful. It's a super clean park.
Right.
It's absolutely, you could spend a whole day there, and like when we went, we rode one ride, but I always recommend everyone, if you're out in that area, you need to go to Busch Gardens. And I will say Busch Gardens Williamsburg is different than the Busch Gardens in Florida, because I've been to that one as well. And the Busch Gardens Williamsburg, in my opinion, is way better than the one in Florida. But those are my top two out of all. I've been to Six Flags, I've been to Disney, I've been to multiple, like I've been to a lot of amusement parks. My husband being in the military, every state we went to, there was amusement parks and we've hit them up. But my overall, where we repeat, is Dollywood and Busch Gardens. But what made this trip so special is my stepdad is a double amputee and in a power chair. So this was actually his first trip this was his second trip to Busch Gardens since he's been in his wheelchair, which has been 13 years. I think this is his 13th year since his accident where he lost his leg. And they had gone over the summer and went with my nephews, but this was the first time he had gone to the Hallow Scream event. And we were very excited but also what I consider the hidden gem is how wheelchair accessible every one of the haunted houses were. Like I said, he is yes, because accessible travel is very important to me, because not only does my stepdad have his needs that he needs, but my dad also has he is deaf, so he has accessible needs when he travels. So accessible travel is very important to me. So when we went there, I've been to haunted houses like at our Carowinds. I was a little nervous. I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but my stepdad's wheelchair, it's a large power chair, because he's got the controller, because he also had, his accident caused him to lose function and motorization a lot in his hands. So he's very limited there as well. So he has a complete large power chair. I was worried how that would be. And usually like they're narrow, or the gravel, or whatever the flooring is. These are all super big issues that we have to worry about. And it was funny because my parents set this up. They're like, hey, we're going to go. It was my mom, my stepdad, my daughter, and myself. And I'm like, okay, I'm just tagging along, and I'm going to take note and be, just see how accessible this is. And he was trying it as well. He was able, there's 6 haunted houses. We made it into 4. He was able to go in all 4.
Nice.
So much space. Unbelievable space. I will be uploading the videos and some pictures on my socials as well. I might even tag it on ours.
That's awesome, Cheryl.
The program, so it was funny because when we got there, this is the thing that was kind of interesting, because like I said, my parents set this up. So I'm figuring they have all the information on what they need because when you travel, especially when you have an accessibility need, you kind of do your research beforehand.
Right.
But this is where my parents have lived in this area.
That would behoove you.
Exactly.
you don't just show up and be like, I hope you're handicapped.
Well, that's what my parents did. They showed up.
That's how they roll. Yeah.
Yes. They showed up to this Halloween event, and just like, because they had gone in the summer, they're like, oh, we can, my stepdad's able to drive all around over Busch Gardens. It's fine. But they didn't prep for this particular event. So we get in, we go to the first haunted house, and we go to the wheelchair accessible side. And they're like, oh, you have to go back. Do you have your wristband? And we're like, oh, what's this? And come to find out, you actually have to go and check in. And they have season passes. So when we had to go back to guest services, they give him a wristband. They also give him a printout sheet that shows all of the rides and attractions, including the shows and haunted houses that fit his needs, that he can actually go to. And I asked my mom, I said, why did you not, or no, she had said, well, why didn't they tell us this? And I was like, as a travel agent, Mom, I would have told you that, because I would have done that research for you. I said, y'all should have looked this up. So of course,
but people don't know that necessarily if you're not travel agent minded.
Right. Yeah. Because it's that I kept everything that they gave us, and the people at Busch Gardens were so nice. We were learning the system as we were doing it, instead of kind of doing some research before, because they, like I said, they've been there before. They just assumed it was business as usual. So I did some research when I got home, because now I wanted to know. Busch Gardens actually has 2 programs. the Ride Accessibility Program, which my stepdad was already enrolled in. And what this does is, now he's a season pass, but you don't just have to do it for a season pass holder. They will actually, they took his, and I'll post the picture and the information that they gave me. They take your information and they like take his height, because like he'll tell you he's 2 feet shorter than he normally is because he doesn't have any feet. So that's his joke. We have a very dry, dark sense of humor, and this is how we get through things. But
you gotta listen, you gotta laugh.
Yeah, so Busch Gardens program, they have what he uses for his mobility, which is his power chair, the type power chair. Because some of the locations that you go into, you have to be able to do a 360. You can't just use a push chair. There's a couple things, but what they do, and I'm going to show it on this, but I'll also post it on our video. I mean, our thing. But like on his Ride Accessibility Program, which I did block out his name, it tells you his height and his conditions. So they have labels for conditions, because some rides, as an amputee, you cannot wear your prosthetics, or you have to have at least one. Like there are variations per ride. And Busch Gardens actually did have a very detailed online book that I found that my parents should have read before they went. But then it also gives you a list. You can't see it here, but like I said, I will post it.
I see it in and out of the brick. Yeah. I feel like we're in Hogwarts at the friggin' 9 3/4 platform.
Right. That's what it looks like. But it gives you,
we're sneaking into the brick.
So like I said, it's broken up in countries. So in each country, it tells you which rides you can ride that fit him. This list is personalized to him as
That's
far
awesome,
as
honestly,
like, what his rules, like what fits for him. And now that's still a maybe, because even though his condition, meaning that, he's a double amputee, he has limited mobility of his hands, you still need to be able to transfer yourself. So the other good thing, which most amusement parks do this now, is they have a sample of the chairs that you sit in on the ride at the entrance of the ride. So when we were able to go, because there was one that was on his list that we went up to, but the type of chair it was, or seat for the ride, it didn't fit the way he would have to transfer. So even though like his condition, as far as being a double amputee, was accessible for that ride, it didn't fit how he had to transfer from his chair to the next thing. So that was a huge perk. It was just so nice to see that.
You sound very, very accommodating.
It was very accommodating. Like I said, I've been in other haunted houses and other ones at amusement parks, and I don't think he would be able to go in those. I was really not expecting him to be able to go in all of these, but
so shout out to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg.
Right. It was absolutely amazing. So I just, the other thing they have is a special access. This was what was really nice. With that program, you have your Ride Accessibility Program, which is to tell you what rides you can ride. But let's say you have another accessible issue, or a sensory issue, or for autism, any other type of accommodations that you need. They have a special access program that you do need to check in with that at guest services, and they do the same thing. They set you up with this little sheet that they give you, and then they give you a sheet. It's a sign-in. What this does is it holds your place. You go up to the ride, you have the attendant write your time on. So let's say it's a 45-minute. We're not cutting the line. So I want to make this clear to everybody. They're treating you as if you're everyone else. They're just making it so you don't have to stand in the line. So let's say the wait is 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. You don't have to wait in that line, which for someone in a wheelchair, if you've ever been in a queue for a roller coaster or a show, those lines have sharp turns. Sometimes they're down a hill. Mm-hmm. Like it can be something that you won't know until you get down there. So instead of waiting through that, they sign this paper and say, they give you a time, come back at this time, and you go, then you get to go in. You're not skipping the line. Yeah.
You're not skipping the line. They're making it accessible.
Exactly. Which I thought was great. The other perk was it's for the person who needs the accessible accommodations, as well as up to 3 guests with them. So you don't have to go by yourself in this party. You can take your whole group. So it was there. We had a party of 4. So thankfully all 4 of us got to go up.
You just
And
made the checklist. You got in
yeah,
under the four. That's
right.
awesome, Cheryl. I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah, so two thumbs up to the accessibility issue or accommodations at Busch Gardens.
Two
They did
thumbs
an
up.
amazing
Whoop,
job.
whoop.
Yeah.
Right there. Awesome. Well, yeah, that is amazing because you are putting yourself out there and making some, sometimes these people, if you're not accessible, you're essentially closing off your business to hundreds of people that could otherwise enjoy your park and spend money there and have a great time. So kudos to them for sure.
Yeah. I thought they did a great job. And these pictures will be posted on our social media and stuff, but because it's Halloween, it's decorated. We actually went through a section called Meat Market because it was decorated like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, kind of thing.
Oh,
And there were
well
severed
then.
legs everywhere. And there were
All
guys with
right.
chainsaws. So they actually came up to my stepdad and pretended they were sawing his leg off. We kind of attached some legs.
Oh, was he
Like
a
I
good
said,
sport about that?
oh, we have a very dark, dry sense of humor. And he could have totally been part of the cast there. It was we just every opportunity we could. I will say though, they did not have um great parking for wheelchair
Mm,
accessibility because they have a van that comes out, but this is somewhere across the board because usually places that have wheelchair accessible or wheelchair or handicap parking, whatever you want to call it, they do not specify the difference between this is for a wheelchair access vehicle versus a regular um handicap accessible vehicle, because a ramp has to come out usually for a wheelchair accessible. People will constantly park over those blue lines. It's very frustrating. Now this isn't a problem solely to Busch Gardens, but it is a problem in general. Don't park on the blue lines or even close to it, because that wheelchair vehicle next to you cannot get in and out. So that was something that I will say Busch Gardens needs to do a little bit better on, but everybody does.
yeah,
Um,
everybody could stand to
yeah. But overall, it was
step
a
up
very
their
good
game.
thing. Good,
Right.
good trip.
Awesome. Well, that's great. I think we both had fabulous weekends and I got home on Sunday and I'm trying to play catch up between, my regular travel agency and our podcast and putting together a set for the wineries and all that good stuff. So just be a smidgy patient. We're trying to get it all out there.
Yeah,
And
but
of
make
course,
sure you, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was just gonna say, and of course I leave my husband and my son and my kitchen looks like some kind of some kind of bomb went off in there and there's stuff on the walls on the back of the stove and I'm just like, so part of making stuff while mom's gone is not including cleaning up? All
Yeah.
right, I got you.
But
So
at
that's
least
like
they
a
cooked and
whole
fed
other.
themselves.
They did. Well, they did. They went out too, but Alex can mess up the kitchen in a hot minute. So that's just a personal side note. When you go away, be prepared to have some cleaning to do when you get back.
Yeah.
It's a small price to pay, honestly. It is.
But I'm glad you had a great weekend away. And yeah, we're catching up. Make sure you check out our socials, Redbirds Travel and ABCD Adventures, both on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, so that you can check
Yeah.
out Denise's pictures from the wineries, and from her visit to, let us know again where you were this weekend.
So I went to a few places. The Fainting Goat was in Jasper, Georgia. The Ott Wineries was in LEJ, and Buckley was real close to. So I'm gonna go say that was probably LEJ too. And I went to Woodstock, Georgia, is where our Airbnb was. And a very cute little walkable town. Definitely, I would consider it a hidden gem for sure. So check that out. And yeah, I would say that wraps up our session for episode 7 with hidden gems. And we are planning to do a TSA pre check. I will tell you, two of my friends flew, and this will set this up nicely. So one had TSA pre check, one did not. They both had kind of nightmare scenarios. So this prompted me even more quickly to hop back home and fill out my TSA pre check application. And that will be in podcast on its own. But for sure it's worth its weight in gold. So be on the lookout for that because Cheryl and I are going to both be TSA pre-checked. Check.
Yep.
And so yeah, that's what we had for you that we went there. Let's go there. We went there. So we'll see you next time on Suitcase Divas. You guys have a great day.
Bye.